All right, final game of the night, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to be Riddle versus Galaxy Racer. Riddle had a tough matchup against Fnatic yesterday, and Fnatic really did come out swinging hard in that one. But Galaxy Racer, very strong roster. Monk, kind of popping off, doing well with Vendelbo in the bot lane. Tibor really impressing as well in the mid lane too. Galaxy Racer looking like the real deal as a team that's kind of coming with a relatively new roster to the NLC. So I genuinely believe this is going to be a good, close matchup. That bot lane of Gooby and PlayStation versus Monk and Vendelbo, I'm actually really excited for. Gooby, a very hyped AD carry as well in our tournament, so I'm just super excited to see. And the Monk Cogmore ban has already come through here, with the Tankmore being relatively popular right now as well.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to give props to the entire Galaxy Racer team, because Jakey was like, when they were going through the qualification, we were like, that's Jakey Dave, that's Jakey Dave, that's Jungle Dave. He came in carrying the team, and now you're bringing Tibor in, you're bringing Monk together with Kakan, who's like a rock in the top lane all the time, and then the shot calling from Wendelboy. It feels like every single piece has been so carefully curated and placed to create the perfect chain, and I'm just a really big fan of Galaxy Racer. But on the other hand, Riddle have a diamond on their side, which is Gooby. Gooby really signed in EU Masters, and I really want to see the team play for him, because when he's good, he's really, really good.
Bans are kind of flown by pretty quickly. I'm wondering if Riddle are going to actually be one of the Renekton, because it's actually slid through bans, and you don't necessarily have to lock in a jungle here. Though, again, another Udyr B1, so teams finally remembering Udyr as a champion, I guess. Unfortunately, maybe not for long. Depends on how hard the next set of nerfs are actually going to bonk him over the head. But we'll see. And with Morg being Udyr being locked in, you kind of expect the Morgana response, which is kind of Resident Sleep. But with that in mind, because of the Udyr first pick, Galaxy Racer can take up the Renekton themselves, and then they've also got an AD solo laner to supplement that jungle, and already they would have put themselves in a pretty strong position.
And also the combination between Morgana and Renekton, you can get so many combos so easily. It's like even better than the Renekton Nidalee, because right now if Renekton stuns someone in place, then there's another bind that goes on, then there's the Black Shield that stops that person from getting CC'd potentially if you tower dive, so it's like even stronger. But I feel like Galaxy Racer here are giving the reply to the possible open Renekton, and they also reply with a flex, because they're like, even if you don't pick Renekton, we can transition the Jason mid lane, and you still have a pretty strong mixed out scenario with the AD Jason, the AP Morgana.
We'll see. The Thresh has been seeing a lot more play. People not actually banning it, letting it through here. So Thresh Jinx gets locked in here for Riddle. Very strong bot lane for Gooby and PlayStation. PlayStation didn't get his name for nothing, by the way. Is also Jace locked in, as you said, early rotation for Galaxy Racer. Let's see how they choose to end this first phase of draft. But I would say that Riddle kind of coming out with what feels like the strongest setup so far from the first set of drafts. But of course, everything can change here. Ashe could be an answer that we've seen frequently, and it will get locked in.
Yeah, I was wondering whether Galaxy Racer would go for another solo laner that can flex between mid and top, and then it forces Riddle to either pick on one position out of AD and support, or only ban one or the other. But they've gone for Monk's Ashe here. We know Monk's Ashe can be pretty good, so we'll have to wait and see what kind of support he ends up being paired with. For now, Lulu being banned away, I think, Wendell on that kind of support pick with that Ashe can be really, really oppressive. Especially at the moment, there's not a lot of dive, and you can see Galaxy Racer themselves, they're moving away divers like the Malphite and the Renekton, because they want to make sure that Ashe is actually protected and doesn't really have many tools to have to worry about on the opposite side.
But you have Kakan in the top lane. He's literally the god of tanks, and like Malphite would have been such a Terry on top here, especially against the Jinx, because as fast as a Thresh lands and is to click, the Malphite ultimate is much faster. It will pull a lot more summoners, so I would really enjoy to see Kakan actually play that Malphite up in the top lane. But
I think now that Riddle have actually opted to remove Braum because they know how strong that combo is. I can't remember which team actually ran Ashe Braum yesterday. It might have actually been Galaxy Racer. I can't recall, but it's left.
It was against Galaxy Racer.
It was against Galaxy Racer, funny enough. So there you go. But Nautilus gives them another facet of engage, and with the Braum gone, I mean, Kakan loves his Ornn, but you can already see Kex sort of taking precautions against a potential tank pick like the Ornn. He's blind picking the GP here because he kind of expects that kind of champion to come out, is the assumption from me. And now for the mid lane, Slowq, he's got to pick something that can, potentially contest early skirmishes. I feel like when you've got the Udyr and you have a GP in the top lane, you need something that can actually gain priority or at least aid the rest of the champions on his team. And it seems like we're probably going to get that out of the Orianna.
I honestly really like the Orianna here, or the Victor. I was about to say, here you're playing for your Jinx. This screams we're playing for our Jinx. And we said it from the start, we want to see them play around Gooby. When Gooby gets going, he's an absolute monster. On something with as much agency as a Jinx mid to late game, he's gonna pop off. He's got the shields from the Orianna, the thresh, the mispositions. He's got the Udyr peeling. Now, okay, if this gets locked in, I'm gonna wait. To me, this is problematic because this is going to be a Yone dive in the backline all alone. And if a Gangplank ultimate gets positioned properly, then Monk will have no access in the team fight. The Jace will have no access in the team fight. Morgana will have no access in the team fight. I feel like Galaxy Racer need to pop off so much in the early game. They need to completely accelerate, or they're just gonna get out-comped here because the front to back, the team fight, the damage mix, the mixed damage scenario that they have on the side of Riddle is just beautiful. It's just textbook composition.
This feels like a page right out of Gulbug's bestseller, Win Lane Win Game. I think for Galaxy Racer, like you're so squishy. You don't have much HP to work with. Like a well-placed, as you said, Trouble, a well-placed, even a single Gangplank ultimate might make your life a living hell in a team fight situation. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Galaxy Racer have kind of put this draft on hard mode and said, okay, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like they've done. I think for Riddle here, the composition kind of plays itself. As long as they don't get abused, especially up in the top lane, the Jace doesn't get to abuse the Gangplank matchup, and he can escape. Orianna can't really get abused too hard. You've got Thresh Jinx on the bottom side. Udyr just has to match wherever the Morgana goes, and they're going to be absolutely fine, I think, going into the league.
Well, do you know what? I've been told that we actually have that best-selling author ready to commentate on this game, so I'm excited to see his opinions on this composition as we head to our last game of the night.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. And I'm here with Grumpy Pants. He's a bit annoyed about these jokes.
It's just such a dead meme. I was just like, it's so overused.
It's never going to be a dead meme, mate. It's
whatever.
You have to live with it.
Go on. Do you have something you want to talk about?
Well, other than your writing skills, I think I agree with the desk. To be honest, I really like what Riddle have got going here, and it's like Trouble said. The Yone can just kind of jump in onto the back line, and then a good Gangplank ult separates the team fight. It's really hard for them to kind of back up Yone. Obviously, you do have Wendell and the Nautilus and the Ash Hour and things, but overall, I'm really liking what Riddle have, and I'm worried the Galaxy Racer don't have the tools to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think what actually ties this so well together is they actually had the Udyr. So I think the fact that you're going to be able to stay ahead of the curve in your jungle and always be first of the move if someone is getting attacked from the Morgana, that's really crucial, because the desk talked a bit about it as well. That is what Galaxy Racer aims to do. They want to attack you. You have this it is kind of what we see overall with AP junglers and 2 AD solo laners that's able to just tear open the laning phase and trying to create these plays where it becomes so snowbally if they get a kill. So that's what they want to do. Like, they get a kill onto a Jace, onto a Yone, it becomes so hard for the laners to play against them. So that's absolutely the game plan for them. And we have talked about this meta a bit. We say that proactivity is being rewarded, so it fits into what Galaxy Racer has. I will say, though, we have seen a couple Jinxes a couple times, and it seems like it always comes down to the point where people are saying, all right, let's scale, let's just scale, and then they come to the point where they just never contested any objectives, and they just lost the game before they really made it work. So I'm hoping that we see a more controlled gameplay over from the side of Riddle, because as we already talked about, Galaxy Racer, there's a lot of tools where they will just run away the game with some of those champions.
Look at our faces. We're still on camera. I guess you guess what that means to happen. Unfortunately, it has been technical issues. We are dealing with them. It shouldn't be too much longer until we get back into the action.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, we have just had, a few gremlins in the system over the last couple of days. The first 2 days, but we are aware of a bunch of these issues, so they should be fixed by week 2. But for now, it's just something we have to grin and bear with. But we are on the final game of the week. How's it felt to be back, Gulbug? Does it feel good? I've been loving it. I'm well happy to be back.
I've been having a great time, honestly. And the fact I got to cast 2 days in a row, I feel like it's nice. You're always rusty when you start out at the start of the season again. So,
yeah,
it's nice just getting full on out, just doing whatever you can to keep your casting up and going. And then we get 5 games. I will admit, yesterday I was a bit tired, but today it's just been like so many good games that it's been very lovely. Like I actually absolutely love we get 5 games.
I think as from a casting perspective, yesterday was obviously we'd had a month off since EU Masters, so we had to shake the rust off. I was overheating as well. Like my room was so warm, I was just overheating. But today it's been nice and cool. We've had that day to shake off the rust. We've had some absolute banging games. I think today's been better games than yesterday as well.
Yeah,
I think it's just lent into being a great second day of our first week back here. So I am so glad that we get more games per day. Honestly, really loving it.
Yeah. What's been your favorite game so far? Actually, you can't pick Granite. You can't pick the Granite Resolve one.
It's gonna be another Resolve game, Resolve XL. Even though XL won that, I think we saw some real fire in Resolve. I don't think we quite saw that today from them. There were definitely some mistakes and maybe some.
I think we saw that fire. I think the early game is really crisp for them. Like you can feel so good about your early game, but you kind of feel bad about their late game, right? But
yeah, I really think that like they challenged XL and XL obviously looked a lot better today. So maybe it was just again them in the same position as us as casters. It's been a while. It's been a month, so have to shake that rust off when you get back onto like a competitive setting. But even so, Resolve challenged the second best team from EU Masters, and they really gave us a fun game. So it shows us some good stuff for that team. But that aside, we are now into a totally different game, and it's our final game of the day. Thank you for bearing with us.
Watch out for Flay here.
Maybe looking for PlayStation.
Oh,
that is a brilliant ward there by PlayStation. Kind of predicting that, and I don't think Galaxy Racers saw him, but they just decided to step away. Although I did hear the ward ping go off, so maybe they did see. We were toggled out of vision, so I'm not sure what they saw.
No, but they most definitely saw the ward being placed, and as soon as they saw that, they knew they just had to.
Oh yeah, there was a ward in that bush. What am I talking about? Yeah, of course they saw that.
So speaking about that rust, yeah.
I literally am operating on 5.
Oh, now
they're
they're just rubbing it in your face now. Oh no.
We get it, Matt. Thanks. Mate.
You have to get it. That's the ward. Do you see the ward, Jake?
I do.
Lovely.
I see slow queue as well.
All right, you know the drill. What's popping? Let's hear about it.
Oh, Galaxy Racer qualified for the NLC, defeating Dusty 2-0 and Bifrost 3-1 in the NLC 2021 Spring Relegations. They also came in second in the Telia Masters.
Wow. Yeah, actually, first place Bifrost didn't make it through, so well, that's a whole nother story. But Jakey, moving on from the jungle here, and obviously we see MC on the other side of the map, so they're mimicking each other again, and honestly, it just makes sense. We've talked about this loads today, but when you have your solo laners you play for, you kind of want to be pathing up towards that top side, and when it is your bot lane that you want to get ahead, as you want to as Riddle, when you drafted this Thresh and Jinx combo, well, then you are pathing towards the bottom lane, so nothing out of the usual here. It just seems like standard early game coming through.
So you see that Gooby and PlayStation are the ones getting pressure in this bottom side, pushing in Wendell and Monk. Over in the mid lane, more pressure is
a bit of a... Oh yeah, sorry for cutting in, but like
there was Riddle have pressure in all their lanes at the moment, bar mid. That's it. You talk.
Yeah, in the hype videos, PlayStation and Wendell, both Danes by the way, had a little bit of not directly trash talking about each other, but they were talking about how they wanted to take each other down. So this is two good friends right now in this laning phase, playing some mind games, both hook champions, both people who's been known for flipping the laning phase a lot, being very aggressive. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that laning phase is going to pan out between those two friends.
Don't want to flip the lane too hard or you'll be flipping burgers.
I'd do a burger right now, not going to lie.
Same, bro. Don't worry, after this game.
I mean, nothing's open right here, but Gooby actually went for a cheater rebuild call, but you can say Vendel was actually able to stop Flay, and, well, he got the first hook. 1-0 to PlayStation. Can they equalize, though?
Calculating it.
Yeah, that is how we calculate it. Hooked hit.
So MC is in the area. Wendell is going to hook the wall. That counts as a hit. He hit the wall. And that puts him in a position to get the Q auto off. MC's coming in. He comes in with the bear slap. There's the hook by PlayStation. Not going to quite hit. Another hook by Wendell, and it's first blood for Tibber.
I just want to take that back and say Vendel hitting the wall does absolutely not count.
It does.
No, it does.
In the replay, you'll see he did it tactically. He didn't want to hit PlayStation. He wanted to hook behind him, so he would be behind him and then auto him for the stun or the snare. Your brain isn't big enough. Look at this hook from Wendell.
Okay, so does Flay have flash here? Yes. Is Flay just gonna flash out after this situation?
Yes, but then it baited MC, and they knew he was there with their.
Oh, and that was part of the play as well.
Yeah, and they're just 7 steps ahead. This is the difference between you and them.
I see. And what's the difference between you and you? Me being. Actually, I'm not
well,
gonna
the
bring in
difference between me and you is about 80 steps. I get that, man. Don't worry. I know my place here.
Don't say that. I didn't want to take it all the way down. Don't be so self-deprecating. See, I learned that word.
Wait, which one did you say? Deprecating or defecating there?
I said deprecating. Don't use that word.
We don't talk about that. All right, so wave stacking up from Riddle as they are looking to push in towards this bottom side. Top side, we haven't really seen too much from up there. Kex has built himself a slight CS lead over Kakan. Although the wave does look to be crashing into Kakan, so he should be able to catch up on most of that. Mid wave, pretty okay. Considering Tibber teleported down into the bot side, he actually hasn't lost out on that much farm right now, so he could be pretty happy with that one. As his attack speed boots as well finished up. It looks like it's just going to be an early dragon here for Riddle.
Yeah, and I like the proactivity. Mid lane pushed in, bot lane pushed in, but they need to be careful. They don't actually have TP advantage either. This could be a really good play for Galaxy Racer.
The binding's going to hit into a hook from Wendell. That one's not on the wall. Do you have the lantern onto MC, but an auto should seal his deal as Monk secures himself the kill, and Galaxy just going to pick themselves up a free Ocean Drake and a kill.
That's just very disrespectful from Riddle. I don't know what their idea was there. Yes, they pushed into waves, but when it's Drake 5 minutes into the game, you're not going to be able to go for it.
Okay. I thought they were going to go for an action there from Galaxy Racer. They did have the cannon barrage, but I think they thought better of it.
Well, Flay, no flash, but does have Hex Flash. You can see he's clearing out for Vision, so they could be looking for some of that Hex Flash with the Cannon Barrage. MC actually being spotted by a beautiful Hawk shot there. Really good game sense by Monk. And you can see Riddle making Galaxy Racer back off. They've had enough of this. They don't mind losing out on a bit of CS. They're just going to let Goopy freeze this one up. But I want to take it back to the Drake again. Riddle being very disrespectful. They didn't have a TP advantage. Kakan had TP up in that top side. So even if they didn't manage to hit all those bindings and skill shots onto MC, they'd still be able to create a man advantage from the side of Galaxy Racer. And also, wave pressure does not matter too much in the early game when you're just starting up Drake 5 minutes into the game. You won't burst a Drake to the point where they're not going to be able to clear the wave, push it out, and still run into the pit. So I thought that was just a very peculiar situation from Riddle setting that up. But good punish for Galaxy Racer. They see instantly what's going on, and they're there to capitalize on it.
You know, we had our opinions on the drafts here. We did think that Riddle had a pretty solid draft, but Galaxy Racer just playing the map and kind of understanding when and where to go for these fights at the moment is favoring them. They are only 400 gold up though, so it's not an overly significant lead. Can see a look at what items are starting to get picked up. Obviously, Tibet did pick up that Boots 2 after him getting that first kill. I just my brain fell apart for a minute there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hook from Vendelbow hits them. Oh, they both hit a minion.
They both hit minions, but Jakey looking for that binding. Can he find it? No.
Does hook on minions count?
No, walls count. Minions don't.
But that's kind of cheating then, because Thresh can't
okay.
really hit the wall.
If it's a hook on a minion that allows you to like get into a better position, it counts, right?
You're ridiculous.
If you're just missing and hitting a minion, then no.
Right, look, back to wave priority. Bot lane is being pushed in. Bot lane from Riddle forced to back, and that means now Jakey actually able to steal away the red buff from MC, getting 1 level advantage. You can see MC wanting to get revenge of that. He wants to get on into the red buff himself. Slowkey.
That is
Good move from Slowkey. You gotta give him.
Yeah, I think that was a mixture of missing and a mixture of hitting
Right.
abilities there. Dodging, sorry, not hitting. Nothing hit.
Right. Jakey is up here, and Gooby's not spotted on Vision. Oh, Black Shield does come out before the Chompers. Actually doesn't even manage to pop that, but with bot lane being moved up first, they should be able to start off this play. And remember, no ultimate onto the Yone. The Shockwave is still there, though. Arrow.
Yeah, they do hit the arrow and the hook there. Cannon Barrage is layered down, and Tibet gets his second kill. PlayStation will pick up Wendell in response, and the Herald was secured.
Yeah, Herald
That's
was
in NLC
secured.
right now.
1 for 1 though, and another kill went over to Tippo here. Definitely not what you want to see, and Gooby not getting a kill there. Flay actually being the one dealing the killing blow, so no extra gold being injected onto the Jinx either, so still a trade that can be worthwhile for Galaxy Racer here. And you can also see they're still 1k ahead, which you can clearly tell from the playstyle as well. It is them winning out on these fights, and with 1 minute until the next Drake, you can only imagine that Galaxy Racer should be the first one onto the play. Yone, as soon as he gets back into the mid lane, should be able to utilize that pressure. Jakey, as soon as he's back from shopping now, should be able to just get onto Drake instantly. And with bot lane now also being ahead, they should be able to just trim off this wave as soon as Gooby has crashed it, and then set up their vision for the Drake. But meanwhile, Riddle can be utilizing this stack wave. They can be using it to go in and clear some of that initial vision that's already there. You can see PlayStation already started on it. MC in the background as well. TP is up for both top laners as well. This could be a dicey situation if both teams want to directly commit for this next Drake, but it is still 30 seconds to it, and they are setting up for it.
Wendell's looking for the hook, and he hooks the wall. It counts. That's a minion hook coming in from PlayStation.
Why does it count? It's a direct miss. He didn't predict the lantern.
Look, I'm just tilting you here. That's my only game plan. That's a misbinding. Straight through the goalposts.
You're dumb. You're just straight up dumb. I have nothing else to say to you.
Hook the wall again. Hawkshot's coming down. It's going to not spot out MC. He's a little bit too shy as he steps into the vision, so they now have that vision of him.
Ash Arrow is up here. Gooby does have cleanse as well, but remember, that's an engaged tool you need to be ready for. Oof. PlayStation's winding up that hook nicely. Good dodge from Play as well.
These two are honestly so good at letting those skill shots just slide in the middle of both of them. Now, Cloud Drake's going to get started up. Honestly, this Cloud Drake's not bad. Monk's going to want to be able to use that R as much as possible, and if he can get this, it's going to be big. MC not really got a way into the pit other than a flash, so they'll just give this Dragon over. That's the second one to Galaxy Racer, as we are looking at a Mountain Soul in this game. Galaxy Racer have the tempo on that. We're looking at about a 26-minute Soul if they can continue at this pace.
We are, but I think you're always fine by giving away the second one. You still have Harold to play for. I just wish they wanted to cross-mob that play a bit. You could tell that, I think initially from Riddle, the call was they wanted to contest that Drake, or else they just wouldn't have MC down there. I wish they would have just used that Herald elsewhere, though, just to get some gold into someone, or try to create a cross-map instead. But they decided to try and contest the Drake, and it's just not working out for them. And now they're trying to go for the top side, but they need to be careful. The rest of them are coming up.
Yeah, they got teleports to back him up as well, and now
Look at
MC
Jakey.
feeling the hurt. Jakey comes in, chains get broken, but he just flashes over the wall, misses the Tormented Soil, but hits the binding. There's the Cannon Blast to slow Jakey down, and Jakey not going to be able to find too much more from this one. Riddle get away with their life right now. Yeah. Herald about to time out, though. That could be problematic for them.
Not only getting away with life, just like, you should not be allowed to live that. I think going for that play is just so off-tempo as well. The resets that's just come through from Galaxy Racer, and I feel like it's just small mistakes that's been punished by Galaxy Racer time after time again. And as you said yourself, Herald is shortly timing out. So it's not even like the play they made for that Herald is going to come to fruition for them.
Oh,
Monk is taking a bit of a trade.
PlayStation predicted the flash. I'll give him that one, but Monk actually just flashed in a straight line.
So it sounds like you're trying to give it to him, but you're also downplaying it at the same time.
No, I actually think that was a nice one there from him. As Kex, you probably are dead now, my friend.
No flash.
Binding into Tormented Soil, uses the orange to cleanse, but Khan will get the kill.
And even though they deploy the jungle pressure from Jakey up there, it's still not enough for Riddle to actually commit a full-on attempt at taking down the tower there. Slowkey just doesn't have the priority in this mid lane. Yes, he's on that Orianna, but we've talked about this Jakey, or not Jakey, Tipper. He's gotten 2 kills onto this Yone. There's a shutdown on him right now, and then he's not far away from just finishing up the first mythic, and that's only going to make matters complicated. So we talked about Riddle's composition and said, yes, they do scale extremely well, but Galaxy Racer, they've played to their win condition as well. They need to be creating these skirmishes. They need to be the proactive team making the plays, and they've done so really nicely so far.
Tibia looking to jump forward, hasn't pulled that Fate Sealed yet, decided probably not to able to do that as PlayStation was in the area. Kex is just going to do his best to try and hold this wave, and as we kind of take a bit of a step back, Riddle, the team who we all kind of favored coming into this game, especially after that draft, are down 1,100 gold at the moment. They're down 2 dragons, and Kex is actually having a pretty rough go of it in this lane. He's going for that Trinity Force build here on the GP, so heading away from the Immortal Shield Bow that we do see often.
And at this point in time, you can see rotation will probably most likely start to come through as Galaxy Racer. You just want to utilize your solo laners here. You have a pretty decent 1-3-1 composition coming into it. If you can get Tipper out in a side lane when he's got this shield bow already finished and Mythic's already coming through from Mongo, well, it's just going to be really easy for them to start getting even more pressure on the map. Vendel in a position where he's not on vision.
He's going to get hooked into the box, into the flay, hooks the wall to get away. That one counts. And he's out of there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Fate Seal collects, and there comes Jakey. The flash forward by Tibia, and he's just able to finish that one up. Beautiful play. Just a kill, the kill.
Basically just the solo kill. Jakey came in, got a bit of assist for the Black Shield and 1 auto attack, but inevitably Tipper was just going to solo kill that one, and he's really been able to take over this game. We talked about it. You just give Yone kills, he snowballs into control mages. Slowkey not having a good time. Not having a good time at all. And with this, Herald is up and available. They're going to be able to take that now. They could be a bit off tempo towards the Drake if they go for this one, but I think they'll actually be able to take the Herald and be able to walk down towards the bot lane immediately to go for that Drake instead.
Yeah, Tibbs already moving over to set up for that one. They have no teleport on Kakan. Gooby's actually in the mid wave right now looking to set this one up, but you do have Monk with that Ash Arrow. Flash not up, but he'll coming up fairly soon. They can just slap down this Herald here, get pressure in the mid if they want to, and then try and contest the dragon, or they may just look to give it up. 19 seconds until that dragon spawns up, and there's a reset coming in from Kakan. Monk's going to have to go the safe way around, and it looks like he's just also resetting, so Galaxy Racer willing to give up this dragon.
I don't know if they are. You can see right now, Kakan backing as well. Could have taken the top tower if he wanted to, but they want to be there for the fight. Kex was here first, though. Does have Cannon Barrage available. Summoner spell is not up in Slowkey. If you get a catch onto that Orianna, he's toast. But eyes onto Gooby, eyes onto the Shockwave. That's what you need to carry these fights here.
There's the flash and the hook goes wide. Binding is going to land onto MC. He's just going to take a little bit of focus. Kakan's coming in. The Ash Arrow is going to connect, and they've got themselves everything led onto the Orianna. Wendel's going to secure that kill onto Slowq. Now MC loses as the Fate Sealed comes down, and Tibber continues to fire off. Monk gets himself a double kill. Tibber lands the knock up, and Gooby's on the run. This will be a triple kill for Monk, a kill for Kakan, and an ace for Galaxy Racer. The dragon is just the icing on the top of this cake. It's a cherry, but, you know, we're working towards a full cake.
They knew exactly what they needed to go for. Slowkey gets hit by the arrow. It's just as we talked about, and he is toast. Goes down immediately, and from that point in time, he doesn't even get the shockwave off. It's just over. Like, the fight is done and dusted when this happened. Another beautiful binding from Jakey. Just make sure that the Udyr cannot run around getting the stunts down. And yeah, Gooby, nice kiting around Kakan here, but you are just an AD carry who's 2 levels down to Kakan. Make that 3 as soon as he gets the kill. And it's just not making their situation easier. We talked a bit about it. When you go for these scaling composition, I kind of feel like it's bait, Jake. It seems like a lot of the time where people put themselves in this situation where they're like, we'll chill back, we'll scale, and then when we late, just never happens because the snowball is so huge.
Yeah, I mean, you've now got a 303 Yone. He's building towards that Infinity Edge as his next item. Could also be a Bloodthirst off his items, but I'm assuming it'll probably be that IE. Got the shield bow honestly so hard to deal with. Monk has now finished up the rapid fire cannon along with the Kraken Slayer to just the Gale Force onto Gooby. The snowball is very much here for the side of Galaxy Racer, and it's on them to keep this tempo up. They still have a Rift Herald to place down as well. They honestly got everything. They killed 5 people. They got the Dragon and the Rift Herald, all within about a minute and a half.
And it's, you know, they got everything. They haven't, yes, they lost 1 Rift Herald as the first one, but that Rift Herald got to make a charge down in bottom. They never got anything out of it. And right now, Galaxy Racer, what they're going to be doing is saying, all right, our solo laners, they're freaking fed. We're just going to keep playing for them. So we're going to put our mid lane, put our bot lane in the mid lane together with the jungle. And they're just going to roam back and forth. They're going to get the pressure, and then they're going to move towards the lane they want to play for. And honestly, there's not much Riddle can do about this situation. They're just so far behind. And Galaxy Racer, they're just doing exactly what they need to do. Now, you get this bottom turret. You push it in with Turbo, and then you just move him back into the mid lane, and then you force the pressure there instead. So it becomes so hard for Riddle to keep track of what's happening in Gooby. This is no longer your territory.
That's the Gale Force to dodge, but this is just the inside trap. The cannon barrage onto the wave. We'll be able to hold this one, but that is now a big tool down and on cooldown. So MC will take an empowered shock blast through the acceleration gate. And they did get a tower. Riddle got at least something. Kex was able to pick that up. He's finished up his Trinity Force.
And as you can just see at the goal right now, like 80 carries fairly close. Monk 700 up doesn't really seem like that from the score. You'd think it'd be way more ahead, but the real gold lead, once again, it comes from Tipper. Like, he is just so far ahead right now, and there's just nothing they can do about it from Riddle. All they can do really is just pray and hope there's going to be a mistake from Galaxy Racer. That is the point where we're at in time right now. You hope for an overextension where PlayStation can capitalize for the hook. You hope for a situation where Gooby is able to farm up some items, but right now, Monk sitting on 2, Gooby not even on that Phantom Dancer yet, and realistically speaking, we even want the Infinity Edge on him before he's really that huge threat that we all dread when we talk about a Jinx.
1 minute 30 until this Mountain Soul comes up, but I just feel at that point, it doesn't like completely end the game, but it just puts such a big halt on the advancement of Riddle, of being able to actually really deal with them for, you know, a little bit longer. Because sure, we've kind of talked about the scaling. It is in favor of Riddle, but when you got those extra resistances and that shield and you're already behind, it just becomes even harder to kind of find those pickups or find those shutdowns. Like, Riddle are one good fight from one of their carries just picking up a bunch of shutdowns from being well and truly back into this game. But with that soul, it just makes it so much harder to find those opportunities. Jakey's able to put the Tormented Soil down. That just deals with the wave for free pretty much. Looks like the Ash Arrow is coming in. It's going to go through the goalpost once again. There is that Lantern as the hooks. Going to go a little bit wide there by PlayStation.
There's a small
Galaxy Racer just going to force Riddle upwards, away from where they want them to be.
It's just so tough for them. You can see how much they have to navigate around to get in here. And as soon as Kakan joins the fight as well, it's not only just the Ash Arrows need to be careful. It's not only the binding, it's the Shock Blast as well.
There's the hook! Wendell finds it. PlayStation pays the price, and the shockwave is huge, but Monk's able to flash away to safety, and Tither in the middle of everyone does a whole burst of damage with that Fate Sealed. There's the snipe from Kakan, the acceleration gate. And Galaxy Racer take out 2, losing none, and they will secure themselves a soul.
Yeah, they try so hard to make that fight work, but they just can't do it. Even with the great shockwave onto a carry, they're not able to they're not able to bring it to fruition. And with this, you said it yourself, it is just going to be this old Gooby. A bit forward here in the mid lane. Kakan could look to chase him down here as well.
Good zap. Probably hold him in his miss. And half health from a shot blast. Gooby is very squishy right now.
Yeah, one thing I learned playing into these poke champions as an 80 carry throughout these 2 days have not been good. But Vendelbo finding PlayStation in that one. And there you see Monk being caught by the shockwave, but Gooby's ultimate actually whiffing there, not hitting him. The shockwave actually dragged him the other way around. So kind of miscoordination with those 2 ultimates.
Dibby just moving through both of the wards. Didn't spot anything out there, but he's okay. He's got himself that red buff now. Infinity Edge, Shield Bow, and a stopwatch. Monk's been sitting on these items for a little while now, so probably a pretty big base coming in, as that is the gold difference over time. ouch is probably the best way to describe that.
Yeah, you can see it's kind of stable at one point, and then all of a sudden, that's just a wall. Like, that's a mountain right there you're playing up against. And that's kind of what they need to do on the Riddle. They need to climb this gold lead mountain, but that climb is hard. That climb is tough. And, you know, there's not a lot of people who actually makes it. Baron now on the table, loads of pink wards in this river. Yes, they can see people are moving up there, but they have no intel whatsoever how fast this is going down, where people are placed. They are just going to be forcing their way in there.
Wendell's going to miss the hook, but the Ash Arrow will connect, and there's MC. A two-man knock-up from Wendell, and the damage is just enormous. Baron and 2 kills picked up for Galaxy Racer. It's a double onto Kakan. So they do look for a little bit more here. Wendell hunting. He's got the flash. He's got the hook. He's might just go for it. Hits the wall. That one counts. PlayStation flashes away. And the binding will hit by Jakey onto Kex.
I'll say it again, scaling compositions are bait. You're so much more rewarded for having priority, for having these proactive plays instead. And you can see it here. Soul picked up by Galaxy Racer. They stacked the Drakes early, mounted Drake Soul. It's going to make it so hard to actually come in and even do anything in this fight. It was a beautiful shockwave from Slowq, but now with the Baron buff being picked up here from Galaxy Racer, they're able to just open up the mid lane. And after this one, they should be able to just open up the rest of the lanes and should clean this out in a comfortable fashion. I'm struggling to see what Riddle can do to this one just because they're so reliant of Galaxy Racer making a mistake.
Galaxy Racer just not giving them the opportunity to make that mistake. Here's the base. Here's the gold going to get spent. That 10k difference is really going to hit different now. BF Sword finished up onto Monk. He's close to that Infinity Edge. Got another BF Sword onto Tibet. That's going to be his Bloodthirster. If he was hard to kill before, he's going to be even harder with a Bloodthirster and a stopwatch. Hasn't finished it up yet. And I question whether or not we're even going to see him finish that this game. They've opened up the mid lane. They've got the Baron to work with. Kex with the Navari Quick Blades has got a fair amount of cooldown reduction, so can actually deal with these waves fairly quickly. But Tibet comes in to make sure that they're able to Baron up some of these minions here.
You can actually see him Kex damage here. He has done a fair amount of damage in this game. Second most total damage done to champions, so might still bring out some dangerous barrels, but it's kind of that coordination we need to see, like a shockwave into a perfect barrel into the Jinx Rocket. I mean, it's stuff you rarely even see and so hard to put on and coordinate, specifically when you're 10k gold down as well.
That's the painful GP life. When you keep placing barrels down, you're like, one chain that can chip away at this wave, and then the AD carries just auto-attack it every time.
It's rough. I hear you're a good GP player.
I'm right. I'm a little rusty at the moment. I actually played him the other day and realized I am a little out of sorts on this champion. PlayStation now just going to have to back off of the rest of Riddle, and they are just losing structures left, right, and center. The siege in the top side of the map as well. I haven't really touched on the fact that Kakan's just kind of running away with it, and while Kakan's quite happily taking the towers in the top side, Galaxy Racer just escorting the Baroned up minions into the base, and Kakan should just take this third and final inhibitor down. Every League of Legends game we've had so far has pretty much been by the book. All inhibitors dropping. Baron's still in the pocket of Galaxy Racer. There's the Ash Arrow. Kex is going to cleanse it with a Tangerine. And Monk's just poking away, slowly but surely. A Slowq will eat the depth charge. Tibber comes in and seals his fate. It's going to get pulled in, and that's the hook by PlayStation you needed. Monk's got the Black Shield on to make sure he survives as Gooby tries to get a bit of extra damage off, but Gooby is low. Jakey flashes forwards, and the chains are going to get propped. That tower, one auto attack from going down, and Jakey gets himself a double kill. Make it a triple kill. A glorious death for Jakey, and that will be the game closed out for Galaxy Racer. 27 minutes on the clock, and they just crush Riddle.
And that's just very convincing from Galaxy Racer. The game yesterday could probably have been a bit more clean, a very slow start, but this time around, Galaxy Racer. It's been late, eh? Making sure that presence is known. Everything was beautiful about this game. Every time Riddle was there early, they punished the mistakes that were there. As soon as they started to snowball, they just played exactly how the composition was designed to do. We talked about it. You have one way of winning this game, and you absolutely completed that goal.
Doubters molding right now. I'm one of them as well. That was a really, really fantastic game from Galaxy Racer, and they are turning out to be a very exciting team here at the Northern League Championship. We'll have to follow them and see how they do. Well, we will be, because we're all going to be following them over the next few weeks. I'm excited to see how they do. I'm going to stop getting my job wrong. Let's pass it over to Excoundrel and the rest of the desk to break down the day and that game.
Sorry, mate. I get my job wrong all the time. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. That was a great match. We kind of talked about that draft beforehand. They said it was a relatively tough draft to execute on for Galaxy Racer, but boy did they do it. Really just snowballed out of control for them. Took over the game, 27-minute win, relatively convincing from them. And yeah, Monk did kind of carry.
I mean, technically, you can argue the fact that Gangplank had a pretty free laning phase, so did the Jace, but then you look further down the map, the Jinx never scaled, the Orianna never scaled, the Udi never scaled, and that's due to Wendelbo and Monk having such a strong laning phase combined with Tibor. I think that Tibor on 2 out of 2 games, he has shined so much.
Yeah,
Yesterday on the Syndra, Undyne. Today on the Yone, Undyne until he decided to go for the grid kill at the very end. So I'm not going to count it. So he has played out of his mind the mages into the assassin/bruiser mid laners. He's been a stellar part of the team. And all in all, I'm very, very excited to see this iteration of Galaxy Racer.
Well, shall we take a look back at one of the key plays from this game? And I'm surprised me who's breaking it down.
Okay, it's gonna be me this time. And of course, right here, as we can see, there are 2 dragons already for the side of Galaxy Racer, and Riddle have done something beautiful here. They've pushed in the mid lane, and they're starting slowly but surely to take vision inside the river to try and then contest, fight for the dragon, be the first ones to be there. The problem right here is this Orianna, booty has sailed inventory. Not great. And then you have a Jace with an Eclipse, which is extremely strong. This is a huge power spike right here with the shield bow, because the nerfed, what I call a buffed shield bow for assassins/bruisers. Now, when you get a shield, you get AD and not lifesteal, and that makes it even stronger. And of course, your Ashe has the Kraken up and available. So technically, Galaxy Racer, they have the early game spike, they have the early game champions that are better in this fight, and moving into the river, you will see that yes, Riddle do have the upper hand, they do have the vision, they've got vision literally everywhere. From everywhere Galaxy Racer could show up from, they have the entire vision, and this is very crucial because in this choke point, you see how Slowq sends his ball on this choke point right here, and Jakey and Monk are literally so squishy that if a shockwave hits them under normal circumstances, under Luden's Echo shockwave, that could really, really hurt them. But again, Orianna, no items. The ball is not threatening at all. And then you see from the back, you've got the Jace coming in, you've got the Yone coming in, and at this exact point, this is where disaster strikes. This is an Ashe arrow onto the mid laner. This is a Nautilus looking at that Ashe arrow onto the mid laner. And this is a Morgana looking to bind the already perma-CC'd mid laner. And if we play the clip right here, this is exactly what happened. The arrow into the Q, into the anchor, into the perma-CC. You see the Jace didn't even have to do much this fight because it was already won. The items spoke for themselves. The teamfight spoke for itself. The power spike you see, but at the end of this clip as well, the Morgana ultimate is still up, so it wasn't even needed. They were so far ahead. They were snowballing out of laning phase, and indeed that was pretty much a win lane, win game kind of scenario for Galaxy Racer.
Well, you know, we just kind of talk about it beforehand, and it is how end of the day, sometimes you just stomp, and they just kind of stomped.
Yeah.
Now I believe we do have a returning interview guest, Vendelbo, here to chat to us. So I'm going to bring him in. I feel like we're having to drag you to these interviews, mate. No one else from your team is turning up here. A really good game from you guys. That was probably one of the more dominant games. Can you talk me through what your draft was designed to do, and kind of like what your game plan was going into that game?
I mean, obviously we want to wait for 6 in bot lane. We want to get them out all on Ashe Arrow, and I think our team fights is just so easy to play. Like you saw when they were trying to take Drake, we just poked them with Jace, we poked them with Volley. Like we don't even need to do anything. And when they get too low, like I just pull the trigger and go in, and then they got aced. So
just simple as that. Simple as that. You made it sound so simple.
Yeah, I mean it is.
It was, and I mean, we saw quite a few funny shenanigans going on between you and Flay.
Yeah, I mean, me and Flay are real life friends, so I mean, of course, we're gonna have some fun and some banter. I mean, that's it. It was a fun play. Like, it's fun to play against Scooby and Flay. They're both my friends, so I mean, I showed them today who is the boss on the Rift, but maybe they get it next time.
There you go, Wendell, the superior hooker between two supports, I guess, in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put some good hooks in. I also did some troll ones, but you know, it happens. You can't hit every time.
No, you were just zoning them. We get it. You were just zoning them.
For sure.
The zoning hooks. I think obviously this is a good start for you guys. The team seems like they feel really confident. It looks like you sort of a roster that also being new to the NLC, you're going up against some of the teams that have been together since the spring split. Do you feel like that kind of lack of time is going to sort of hurt you versus some of the teams that have got more time together, or do you feel like you're already starting to play like a really sort of good level team?
I mean, as I said yesterday, we're taking things slow. We're just starting to learn the game, like mashing each other. We only had 1 week of scrims, so it's not like we are in fully form or anything. Like, we're just trying out stuff, see what works for us, and I'm really happy taking the 2-0 week. Like, I didn't expect the match today is going to be so easy, but like, we got a good draft and people were confident in the champs they played, and I feel like, yeah, we did really well.
You did, and you guys should be super proud. I'm really excited to see, and I love it when we have teams like yours teams doing well, because it makes it that much more competitive as well for the NLC, which is going to be great heading up towards European Masters too. Since I know a lot of people are kind of like looking towards the NLC as like a stronger region, especially with XL having done so well previously. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys progress through this split. And thanks for coming for the interview, mate. I know it's not always easy to be roped into these interviews, but we're glad we've got you, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, should we take a look at what happened today then? We had some, I think, mostly expected wins, though I would say that the Granite Gaming win was definitely a 5-head prediction there from Trouble. But other than that, I think everything else kind of went as people kind of thought it would.
Yeah, and I was really excited to see that Nordavind are coming in shape from the very first game of their split. It was memed in the interview with Nordavind as well, how they didn't do that great at the start, but then they managed to turn it around. But today they were stellar on the first game, and of course, no one can go against the Kings that Granite are. They managed to turn the game around from like a 7-8k goal deficit. Only the Nexus was standing, not even a single tower in the game, and really, really happy to also see BTXL back in form. They were dominant, they were fast-paced, they executed to the T.
Yeah, they did, and it's great, especially after yesterday, because I wouldn't say we necessarily had doubts, but Resolve definitely shook them in the early game a little bit. So very happy that they were able to take down their opponents in such a dominated form. And I mean, Tricked, I think this was kind of just a bit of a draft gap. I think Dusty couldn't really do much against how much dive they had going for them, and like we kind of said, just press their R buttons, they remove people off Summoner's Rift one by one, and there was very little counterplay, and then of course the game that we just had to go by. Very, very funny game to watch. I feel like Galaxy Racers draft, we had our doubts in that one, but it was a win lane win game scenario. They did just that. They pulled ahead in the early game. They had their key items at fights like these when they needed them, and they just ran over this team composition that needed to scale from Riddle.
Yeah, and as we kind of felt like it was a draft that felt hard to execute on, but Vendelbo said no. For us, like we had a game plan and we knew where to go in on it.
Yeah, I think it was just about the team fights really, because the composition that Riddle had, they need the enemy team to come at them from primarily one angle. If they have like one flanker that's coming at them from a different angle, they can deal with that. They've got barrels, Oriana Ball, etc. But when you have a fight like the one we had on the drawing board, where it's 2 different angles plus a frontal engage, it's just lights out, especially when they don't have the items to actually survive that kind of onslaught, really.
Should we take a look? I don't know, Trouble, did you do the MVP of the day today again?
Does it say Marcoonix scoundrel?
Maybe. Should we have a look? I mean, I'm just going to introduce it as Trouble's MVP of the day.
Well, you're wrong, because it's my MVP. I honestly, I was torn. I feel like Orome also was
monkey spin, monkey bonk.
Monkey spin, monkey bonk. The Ignite TP tech really helped Curb also get going. And I feel like it's rare sometimes that you see top laners be willing to take some kinds of dark tech, especially in something like Lee Sin, one of the stronger tops in this meta at the moment. he did it, he made it work, and then later on in the team fights, he was just hitting multiple man cyclones, and it just made it a really hard time to really play against.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kerberos would have been one of my top 3 choices for today for sure,
Yeah.
and I definitely agree with you. I think, you know, channeling the dark tech, mate. He's dipping into the shadow arts of League of Legends there, and he's one of the few people that do. But no,
It
nice.
was really close between the 2 monkey men, but Kerberos won.
Yeah. I think you got to give credit to someone who's willing to take those risks, those summoner spell risks. Got to give him some credit. Let's take a look at how this is shaped up the NLC standings. Then, for the time being, we can see the scores starting to get updated here. Look over to Division A. BTXL and Tricked opening up at 2-0. Granite and Singularity 1-1 apiece, and Dusty and Resolve now down at 0-2. And I feel bad for Resolve because.
Yeah.
Like that's not a great 0-2 because it really didn't feel like it should have been that way. Like they had the edge on XL, they definitely had the edge on Granite for the majority of the game, but just closing out, capitalizing on leads, and as Trouble said today, just lack of hard engage made it difficult for them to get on top of those games. Let's take a look over at Division B, and as you can see, this is also starting to update. Galaxy Racer coming in hot to the NLC, 2-0.
Monk is carrying.
I know, Monk is legit carrying. But though I'd say that T-Ball kind of carrying as well. Fnatic and Nordavind, 1-0 apiece. Godsent, Cova, and Riddle are all down at 0-1 and 0-2 respectively. So Division B starting to get some front runners come through. But as you may know, we have got loads of NLC action this split. We have way more games to bring you, and that means there's more action. There's some cross-group action in the middle of the split, and we also have some 3-day broadcast weeks. Speaking of which, next week we will be having a 3-day broadcast week. We'll be starting on Tuesday, same time, same place, but we'll be running all the way to Thursday as well. Of course, big thank you to Trouble and Jamada for being here on the desk today. It's been wonderful to have you. Also, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Mastercard, El Gigante, Telia, and KitKat for sponsoring the NLC. We will be back though next Tuesday, same time, same place. If you want some notifications and updates, make sure you follow our Twitter and also click follow on the Twitch stream to get those notifications about when we go live. But we'll see you next Tuesday for some more NLC action.